Hi there and welcome to Steve's Long Stay Vintage Radio Workshop, and this is a set I was given by a place in Norwich. I've said I'd do a video on it, and so this is it. This set, by the way, is an Invicta Model 14, and I've looked at it inside and it appears to be, I think, because last time I was hopelessly wrong, it appears to be this time a short Superhet. Now, with short Superhets, they work just as well, but they came out during the war mostly, and the thing is that they actually did it with 4 valves rather than 5, by not bothering with an AF amp before the output valve. That's the only difference with them. Now, because of that, there's no actual tie up to with the grid of the pentode and the power supply. So actually, in some ways, they're a bit better. This one, by the way, is AC only as well. So there's no nasty problems inside with you know, shocks for things that, you know, people aren't aware of. So in that respect, it's quite a good machine in that respect. Don't ever think that because they're sort Superhets, then they can quite easily be written off, because they can work just as well. So this one, we hope, is going to work just as well. So as always, let's take it apart and find out where and why and how and everything else that a radio of this kind needs to work. So let's have a look inside. Now, this one actually has screws on the back. This needs to be taken out, of course. And with these, actually, the screws holding the chassis in place, and the whole lot comes out a bit like an American set. But with these, in quite a number of cases, including this one, I think, it does in fact come off with the knobs on as well, so they come apart in a slightly different way. This means, therefore, that there are things which might not be a problem on this set, such as not coming off that, which won't be such a problem. And basically, I do actually tend to put a knob back on, because unfortunately, when you do, it means that the set will be safe and you can use it during switch on. The set will come out of the case here, because I'm going to take all this off the side here, fill it in, and this is going to become a different colour, probably black or red or something like that. I don't know, whenever got to hand, really. But I'm not going to go all out for that, you know. But it does need some sort of treatment there, so a treatment there it will receive. Also, there's one knob for there, which I think we've got, so again, there, not such a problem. Now then, under here, the remains of the mains cord will have to come off. Where are my cutters? There they are. So that comes off there. Like that. And this comes off here as well. I mean, imagine if that shorted. Imagine. so that has to leave us, does that? So leave us it will. There you go. Right, anyway, now with that out of the way, got a transformer here, EZ40, which is these valves that came before the B9 took over. EL41, very common. EBF80 there, that's the one IF stage and the diodes in there, and of course an ECH42 there. So there's the valve lineup. Now under here, these have been put in by somebody in the past, sorry. 60 microfarads and this one is another 16, okay, fair enough, and this one here is 25. So they're going to are going to leave us because you know, I don't know what condition they're in. So these are going to leave us too. So that comes off there. That comes off there. And this one comes off there. I'll leave a bit of wiring so I know what's what. Okay, right. So they can go. Okay. Now then, capacitors. Also, there's this thing as well. I'm not sure what this is actually, but I might leave that for now, but I will have to change it, obviously. Like I said, with it being a short superhet, there's no actual grid capacitor in the same way, but also you should always change that capacitor on any radio, so we shall. So there's that one, that one, that one, and that one to be changed as well. Okay, and of course the lead. Now as far as the case is concerned, I'm going to take the radio out of the case because I want to look at the radio, and then the case I've got to do some work on as well. So I've got to get this speaker out of here, which is held on by four nuts here, so they can come off. And the cabinet, I think, I noticed the cracks on the dial. I don't know what to do about those as of yet, but obviously I need something to do that as well. So I'll get the rest of the set out the case, and as always I'll come back to you. That's the cabinet out of the way. We'll deal with that later. I tend to leave the cabinets until I know the electronics are okay, because what's the point? You know, all that money and time on the cabinet if this doesn't work. So that's why I do it. You might do it differently, that's entirely up to you. But anyway, that has to be changed. That's a tone correcting capacitor on the 8-bus stage. That really needs to come off because it carries about 350 volts. If it goes short circuit, it can do things to the transformer and the valve, of course. If you look underneath, again, like that, it's that one, which is 0.1. That one which I don't know, that one which I don't know, that one which I don't know. So those need to be changed, and this needs to be changed as well. And at which point we can switch. What is that? 25 microphone. Okay, so a 25 there. Okay, that's that is probably going to be the cathode bypass capacitor on the 8-port valve, but I will get the circuit and have a look to be sure, because it should be fairly easy to get hold of. Like I said, as it stands with those capacitors, if I plug this in, which I'm not going to do yet, it'll buzz like hell and nothing else. So yeah, but so at the moment we can't. But before we plug it in, I'll change that and that. Now there's this here as well on the output. Well, I don't know what this is here, but it's been added for some reason. So I will decide later on what to do with that. But I think that might well come off. The aerial is similar to what you get on a lot of battery sets, as you can see here. You see, and there's a couple of bits missing, but I actually found them underneath the chassis, so I'll take that off while we're at it. There you go, out we come. There you go. That can come out, that can come out, just safety reasons. So this is similar to what you get on the battery sets. We see but to made a few, so that's where. So obviously, you know, here is the connections for it, and you know, one of them is for medium wave, and the other one's switched in on long wave. That's how that works. Oscillator is here. Tuning capacitor is fairly clean, and it does that. It does that okay. Doors probably okay, but we'll check them. And like I said, you never start working on a radio like this without checking that certain things are okay. Now I know that he had this on because on his video he did, so there's nothing badly wrong with this. So I think we can probably go ahead and start changing bits and pieces, which I will do after I've got my hands on the circuit, just to make sure that I know what that is, because I think it's probably going to be the cap for here, but I want to make sure before I go any further. If it's there, then a low voltage one will go in because it's only had like a few volts on it. But if it's another one that goes off the 8T line, then obviously it needs to be bigger and better and livelier. So that's what we're going to do. These, by the way, do come off the 8T line, and are probably well past the best. Although, like I said, it did work with them in. So now, as far as the EZ40 goes on these, this one has a maximum capacitance, reservoir capacitor, peak capacitor, of 50 microfarads. Now that means that anything up to that will do. So anything I've got really that you know, will go in, will do fine. So, you know, why not? You know, with these capacitors here, that's these, and they're usually in a cam, which is here, but not connected, obviously, I hope. Then you normally find that they will go, you go upward somewhat, but never downwards. Okay, upwards, but never downwards. Okay, and it's advisable, very advisable, not to go above the rating of the valve in question. So that's something else to look for. Yeah. Now, as regards the HT side of it, I shall, in the meantime, whip. I shall, if you need to, with the transformer set, you can whip the valves out and look at the pins. With a set, whether in series, in HCDC set, you can't do it quite as easily, but we can with these. So it's something else that is worth doing if you need to get that space. So yeah, I'll get the bits and we'll start working on it, shall we? Right, before I show you the circuit, a few little checks we need to do. First of all, that and up here should not be any form of short circuit apart from through the transformer. So let's see if it is. With that on like that, we should have something there which we do, and there which we don't. No, there we go, yeah, okay. Now, from here we go to here. We'll put that onto there, okay. So from there we go to there, and it should end up somewhere like there, which it does. Okay, now modern sets, this one actually has this on the back here. Now in these sort of situations there is more than one thing you can do here. First of all, this on the top here should be wired to neutral, okay, or at least have the switch in the way, one of the two, okay. And also I think that it's best to make sure that if someone does touch this, they're not going to get shock. AC or DC main shocks are not the sort of things we should ask for. Anyway, so now, therefore, look down here. That is actually the cap for the cathode of the output valve. It should be it should be at a very low level, that. So I can probably put something a bit smaller in there. That one goes off one end of the volume control, which is here. And that is the one which goes to the speaker, actually the tone control. So again, I'll change it. All these, because there aren't that many, I will change them. But first of all, let's get the circuit out and have a look and see what's what with it. Always have a look before you leave, especially when one comes in with the power cord in that the condition this was in and it's been taken out. Okay, this one has been used in this state by somebody who knows what they were doing, so we should be okay, but better safe than sorry. Here is the circuit of the radio concerned, and you can see here that's the mains in there, and the switch at the top there for 220 to 240 volts. I marked that out actually. There's the bulbs, 3 volts or so each in turn, making 6 volts, or 6.3 to be precise, don't forget. Rectifier. Now capacitor 28 and 29 are the smoothing and reservoir capacitors, which I took out. They are they're there, okay. And of course on this one the transformer actually is part of the smoothing. So basically the power goes in at the top here, like that, after the reservoir capacitor, through that resistor to there, and of course to there as well. So that is it is how that is done, as we say. So basically the anode of the output tube, the cathode, is probably going to be a slightly lower voltage than the second grid there. Okay. Now that's now that one is the cathode bypass capacitor there. Yeah. Now, like I said, with these sets, these short superheads, the first grid goes straight to volume control here. Okay. Now, also, this capacitor C30 goes from the anode of the UL84 in this UL841 in this case, thank you, to deck. If that went short circuit or leaky, all that would go to deck, so that has to come out. Whether I put it in or not depends purely on the set, because of course when this was made, things were different on the band than they were after 1978. So that might not need to go back in, but we'll see about that. Okay, that one, okay, and that one's the AGC capacitor there, and well, that's it really. So that's what we need to do. So next thing we do, I think, is find and check R16, because that is the one which yeah. So therefore, look at the circuit again. First thing we'll do is to find out which is which here. Okay, so that goes on like that. The switch is on now. Can you see that? Yeah, you can. Okay. So now we go that end. That goes to deck there. So there's that one, and there's another one somewhere as well, which I think is somewhere else. Anyway, so R16. Right, okay, so it should somewhere there should be a capacitor for that. Well, it's direct there. Right, okay. Right, well, I'll now what we'll do in this case is we'll check on both the leads out for the smoothing capacitor. Okay. Now that no we won't, sorry. We'll go to the lead out of C28, which should come straight from the rectifier. So the rectifier here, it goes to R28, and up here of course it also goes to R16. So we're looking from the cathode here to the anode here. I'll quickly get rid of C30 because it's going to go anyway, so I'll quickly get rid of that, and we'll measure it. The positive terminals of C28 and C29, between them there is a little bit of C3 and R16, and that comes to, let's have a look, that there of course that links to the valve up here, something like there. I hate meters that do that. That should be reading, that should be reading 0. Let's try that again. That's 0, and I hope that hasn't damaged anything. Shouldn't have done. And then of course the other end should of course read 1.7 that means it might have gone up a little, but not that much. So I'm going to leave that for now and see what happens when we power this thing, which I'm not doing right now because there's no lead on it, which is for a purpose, because I do tend to power things when I'm not supposed to. And well, I've been doing this for like 40, 50 years now, so you know I can, but a lot of you simply can't because you're new, and I don't want you picking up my bad habits, such as leaving things like that in as well. So I think now it's time for a few components to be changed, like I said earlier. So I get on with that and come back to you when this is done. Now at this stage I've replaced the smoothing caps, the cathode capacitor on the 8-put stage, capacitors around the volume control, and that's it really. So at this stage, if I power it up, it should do something, which straight away it does. The lights on. Well, hey, we're getting somewhere. So we'll wait while it warms up. See, I'm getting valve heaters now. Ah. Long way. And that's long wave, and this is medium wave. So obviously it's doing something. So we've got a good working radio on our hands technically here. So next thing I'll do therefore is change the rest of these capacitors and take it from there, because of course, you know, when you're changing capacitors in a radio like this, you're changing things like that, or that, or of course I think there's a Hunt one in there as well, a grey one, a brown one, so that has to come as well. What you do, change a few, switch on, change a few, switch on. This is because if you change them all and switch on straight away, one mistake and you're going around the houses, which is not a good idea for anybody's sake. So you know, always do it that way, okay? Even I do it that way even now, so there you go. So 3 more caps to change, then of course we'll start looking at other things. But before we do that very quickly, I wonder what the AT's like. Because if that rectifier is down, then you know we wouldn't get very much, would we? So we'll check that first, okay? So here it comes. Right, well, put that up so we can see, and you can pick it up on the 8-put transformer here. That's interesting. That's interesting in a sort of a funny way, because it suddenly died. That's there. That's there. Oh, we're back. Yeah. That bulb, and it fit those rather better. So it's 232, which is okay for that. So from there, of course, we'll see what it is on the other half of that resistor as well, because that of course covers the rest of the set, and of course the second grid of the input valve here. So what I'll do, I'll quickly look at that and change those two caps, and we'll try again. Now all those caps have been changed, it's time now to start looking at voltages, because it's still a lot lower than it should be. So first of all, let's check on the heater voltage, because that is it's about right. Okay. Now the rectifier side of it, on this pin here, goes to the capacitors here, and so that'll be DC. There we are, DC, or should be. And we go to there. Two, 3, 2, okay. Now, as I said previously, on the next valve, the EL41, there are two voltages applied to it. One is, it comes from the transformer here, the output transformer here, and one comes for the rest of the set. And so let's find them, shall we? 200, okay, and that one's alright, or should be. That's nothing there. Nothing there. Not there. Not there. Okay, right, well in that case, that pencil should have two voltages on it. One of course on grid 2, and the other one of course on the anode, which it doesn't appear to, it must be there. So one of these two voltages is missing, and hang on, is that it? Yeah, it's there. Okay, so we know that that's more or less okay. Now, the other side of that, there's a circuit just for reference. Looking at for 227, which is this one here. So
cultural in a sense, and I know you're a sociologist. So is it a problem with society, or is it up to the individual?
5 volts. Okay, maybe that's a bit low, but it's not that low. So
they are going to languish because they may be, I don't know, discriminated against.
Okay, so that looks to be okay. Now the grid of that, of course, on these sets, like I said, this is a short superhet, and so we're looking at R14 now, and R14 goes to volume control, which is here, like that. Okay, so you shouldn't be there isn't. Okay, fine. Well, that proves it. That is okay. Now I can put that further by doing that. Look at listen to how loud that was. So now we're going to look at the next problem, which is V2. Now V2 is this one here. That is a U A an EAF 90 or a EF 80 or something of that kind. So EAF 89, something like that. This valve contains the diodes for the radio, and of course it also contains the IF amp. And so therefore the next place we'll look is let's have a look. Valve 2 anode. Okay, so I'll get the anode and we'll find out which one it is. This set has some did actually at the time have two different bases in the B8, B8, and B9A. So this one is the one with B9A. So let's look at it and drive it through, and I think it's probably going to be well, looking at why colourings can actually help sometimes here, so that's what we'll do. I think it might be that one. And it's coming up.
The other thing is, I couldn't wait for society to start caring about my little universe.
Now, when a radio is coming up, the voltage will come and then will drop back as the radio starts to operate. So be ready for that one.
That's a great world to live in, but I don't want people to wait for our medical and our public health systems to catch up here. That's why I give you in the book the 5 vitamins, things you can do. You don't have to go out and spend any money or ask for any professional help to go do those 5 things. But the evidence suggests if we go out and do those things, we can begin to move away from languishing. Even people with depression who did those 5 things moved out of depression and towards flourishing. It wasn't overnight. It took time and patience and persistence. So my recommendation is don't wait for the world around you to change, and we have to demand changes. Meanwhile, do what you and I can do to make our lives better in our own little universe.
Corey Keyes, author of the book Languishing. Now, Dan's been listening to
200 volts, that's okay.
Yeah, iron's an incredibly interesting phenomenon. So this idea, and I love
Right, okay, so 220, that's okay.
between depression and well-being.
That's what the DC voltage is though.
It reminds me of huge
AC RF voltages, or IF in this case here, at this point, which is basically a form of RF in some ways. Can go to a through capacitor, which most of which I've changed. But
which might be a precursor to serious mental health issues, I think we should embrace it.
if we go back to medium wave like that. There doesn't seem to be a right lot. Okay, that's one way. There's a one thing that
engineers like this don't like is a radio that's quiet. If it's dead, they can find the problem. If it's working but distorted, usually be the output stage, although some VHF sets it could be the discriminator, and so on and so forth. But a radio that's like this, it can be interesting to deal with. Deal would be an operative word, I think. Right, that's all the caps changed, and so on we go. And actually, it's not much better. I've also replaced the 1.5 meg cap in between the two smoothing blocks. That's had gone high in value. That's this thing here. Well, that's.
Not very modern. And then what she does is she relaxes her spikes, which enables him to climb up.
That's as loud as it goes, and I think it should go a lot louder than that. I really do. So right. So first thing we'll do, by the way, just for the sake of it, is give this wave chain switch a good going over. With the last of my switch cleaner. Like so. The back here as well. There we go. Do that a few times and see what happens with it now. Surprising how often actually wave chain switches can be a bit of a problem. On certain forums I was famous for saying that wave chain switches are the root of all evil, and it's true, they are. So it's something which we've...
Because everyone's perhaps on board, but you've had a bit of a war with them.
And that, by the way, at that low level, it's one of the two stations left round here on medium wave. So I've got the other one. So basically it's a lot better than long wave.
So, read your book,
But, well, nowhere can anyone call that brilliant. So, at this point, we think about things like, you know, the wave chain switch we've done, and of course giving it a bit of a blast and see what it comes up to on the HT. Now it's I think with this one, I think it will probably do to go in at the aerial. So I'll get that set up and we'll come back and have a look at tuning it up. Oh well, there we are. Right, that's the HT and the IF sorted out. It's down at near zero and it's still coming through, so I don't know how far away it is, but I'm going to find out at some stage. That looks okay. And that looks okay too. And that is actually something like sub 1 millivolts. I'll just check that very quickly. Yeah, it is. That's that's pretty good actually, IF wise. So the IF is okay. So now of course we turn our juices to the aero side of it. We still haven't found out why it's so low, but I'm sure at some point we will. I don't think it's going to be that. But with them okay, and on the other side as well, by the way. Usually it's the top ones that get tweaked, but we know for a fact that the others are okay because they've not been touched either. So therefore, and they've got a radio with very little audio. That's the tuning cap, by the way, as well. So right. So if I wish to know,
I would be less confident than the last Euros for sure. Yeah, but it was coming off World Cup semi-final. There was a feeling and anticipation that England would build on getting to a World Cup semi-final, which they did, reaching a European Championship final, which they lost.
right.
And I think the issue.
So the question is, why is it so low?
You go back to another final.
It could be valves. Well, very quickly, what I'll do now I know that the IF is obviously pretty much okay, I will now unplug that. I will now unplug down here and start looking at the the frequency oscillator valve, of course, which is V1, which is something like an ECH42 or something like that, I would say, to guess. I've cleaned that and that's now improved it. So now we'll have a look and see if it's any of these here. Now, these leads on the back here are not factory, but one of them might do to connect the aerial to, so I'll bear them and we'll see what happens if I put an aerial back onto those. The voltages on the ECH42. Okay, first of all, on the anode, 230 volts, that's fine. Okay, that's the second grid, if you like, on a hexol, but the same sort of thing. That's 92 volts. That's okay. And of course there should be another voltage as well, but you know it's there. It's there. So there it's okay. Now then, going looking then further, actually, this resistor here is part of the AGC line, and it takes the output and feeds the signal back.
Look at this one.
And all I've got to do is put something on there like that.
This is a score for 2026
Listen to that,
as well. And
okay? Now, the other end of it here, there's nothing at all, it doesn't do it. So, I think the next place we look is that resistor. So, so we'll find a suitable place to put that, like that. this goes to 20 megs because 2 megs isn't enough for it within 3.2, and with it off, of course, we'll go to there and see what we get. The cab across as well, you know, so that looks okay to me. That still going up though. Just I'll just quickly whip that off there, and we'll see what it's like with that disconnected. In 2 ways: one, the ADC, and 2, I'm probably going to change this anyway. So you know. So now, of course, we put one end onto there, which is open apart from that, so it wouldn't be a problem like that. Okay, and now we go back onto here and see what we get. A little bit high, a little bit high. I think we'll probably swap that anyway. Now, from there, of course, the C7, which is under puff, which is also going from that point according to the diagram. So we'll find out where C7 is, and we'll have a look at that, and we'll change them both. The one thing which happens with ratios of this kind is that valves tend to be a little bit worn out, and I think the output valve is actually rather the worse for wear. But apart from that, it's okay. What I did actually was I did it the American way, which is of course to put a big long wire on the end of the aerials, which can either be strung about or tied to something else, like a door or something.
This was not part of the script.
And that's what we get.
I have to say, this England performance tonight in front of a very quiet crowd.
And that's without being in the case of this, and the, you know, and things like that. So it will be loud with them.
The top in John Stones, who was beaten for the goal by 4 stars below the match against Slovenia.
The only thing about AM at the moment is that it seems to be full of stations that only cover sport on media wave anyway here. I know that under half of the country you usually find something like Radio Carolina, but not over here.
Here is Cole Palmer on the right hand side, playing on this flank today, but as Ian has been
well,
saying,
anyway,
a sort of floating role play.
With that out of the way, I'll put this out of the way now and just leave it on in the background, and we'll have a look at the cabinet. Well, the cabinet actually is in a bit of an interesting shape here, but we can certainly do something with it. I'm sure we can. We have to, you know. So that's it. So first of all, this comes off here, whatever it is. It comes off. There we go. So that reveals another hole, which we have to fill up. Okay. And inside here, if you look, hang on, I'll just the inside is dirty, but we've also got to move a couple of things from it. Put it on its head like that. You can't see them, can you? Okay, not to worry. I'll adjust the camera. That's going to come off, and of course, so is this here. Now this here needs some work, so I'll take that off first, because that's one that shouldn't give us too much trouble, I hope. So that comes out. This one comes out. Like that. And straight away the Invicta radio thing comes apart because I knew it would basically, you know. So yeah, so I've got to do something with this because it's obviously been yeah. This will need an amount of work, I know that. I'll get it as near as I can. Really is all I can do with it, you know. So that one comes off, and this one comes off. Like that. Bit more maybe. Like that. And this end comes off as well. So now we've got we've got this basically. We've got this mess to sort out. So this what a dial has become. It was actually quite a nice dial, but it's not. It isn't now. So I don't know quite what we're going to do with that. I might, while I'm away, which I will be doing after tonight, I will put an advert out for a new dial. But we'll keep all that because we might need to might need to rebuild that somehow. So we'll take all that lot and put them somewhere safe, like on top of there, like that. And of course now we've got to take out the speaker baffle board as well. And that goes out to be cleaned as well, which leaves us with the case, which is mucky. Now what colour shall we have it? Let's have a think. There are not like Brenkler on the shelf actually looking at me, so hang on a minute, I'll have a look and see if it'll try a little bit and see what it looks like. That's not that nice baker-like colour, isn't it? That is acrylic professional spray paint, and it's gold apparently, but it appears to be rather more brown, and I think that'll do very nicely. So I'll clean that up, give it a spray, and then of course clean the speaker thing up like that, put it back in. Then of course by that time hopefully somebody will have come forward with a new dial for it. Strangest things happened at sea, you know, they really have. Anyway, I'm going to leave it here now. I'll be back in about a month's time. So at that point I shall come back and I will finish this and you'll all get to see it. Well, I'm back from America and get on with this. Over there it's quite good actually. The weather was a lot better than over here, and I brought some radios back which we'll look at soon. One of them did fall foul of the couriers, but we'll deal with that. But anyway, back to this. And on the side of it there was a hole which had been put in by somebody else, which I have to fill before I paint the cabinet. So what I did this is a professional wood filler. Yeah, comes in two parts. It comes in a big glob of wood filler and a finisher. I've put them into the hole here, which I've got turned around so you can see. There you are, like that. And now I'm going to wait for that to dry out, because once it does, I can sand it down, then I can paint the cabinet its new colour. I've run into a slight problem with the dial, and my girlfriend on the phone here. Say hello.
I'm just your girlfriend now?
The fiance then, okay. Say hello.
No.
Okay, okay. She says that says it's my choice what to do with this. What's happened here actually is that a lot of this paint has gone, so I can't actually bring it up the way I wanted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this video together without it and put it aside, working of course, and then go all out to find a dart for it. When I can find a dart for it, I'll come back and I'll fit it, but this is very much a no-go. So as soon as the cabinet, which is now a lovely Bakelite brown by the way, is dry, I'll put the thing together, and that's the way it'll be until I find a new dart for it. In fact, in 4 pieces, as you can see there, and these two are, yeah. So there we are. So you don't just want to say hello, Katie, to the various.
Hello.
Hello, thank you. There you are. Anyway, that's what I'm going to be. Okay, so I'm going to put it together without that and try and find one. Well, it's not turned out so brilliant, but it'll do to cover up all the various things on it. So what we'll do first of all is we'll get the speaker thing like that, and we'll put that in, whichever way it goes. I think it's something like something like that, I think, innit? Yeah, it must be there. I know I should have drawn some pictures, but never mind. So now I will put in the various screws that hold it in place. This is the thing for the speaker. It goes like that. Find the right screws, which I think will be, oh god, I don't know, let's try those. They look a bit more like it, don't they? So if I put them in there and tighten it up like that, then we're nearly home. So the first thing we do is put this back on here, like so. So there's always one which doesn't go in straight away, isn't there? Right, so to put these back on here like that. This cabinet now actually smells of a newly painted room actually, which is quite nice, but not really all that important. So glasses go on because I'm old. Yeah. And from the screwdriver of the right kind. That didn't work. And put this in. There we are. A nice
browny colour now, and the sides of course are smoothish, but this is not quite as good as I expect it to be, that I'll admit. If anyone has got a Delph one of these, one that's in better condition than that, then yes please, I do want it, because I'll put it across the front here. Apart from that, it works fairly well actually.
Away from Wembley, and they have the opportunity to win.
Well, the trouble on long wave and medium wave, of course, is very little
More than half of the ones at this tournament.
to be happening.
I've had to go straight to bed. I am drained.
They are the only two really in this area.
Just wiped out.
I know in some areas you get stuff like Radio Caroline, but here we don't. And long wave, of course, Radio 4, that will be leaving us in the next 12 months. So yeah. So this one I might actually experiment with putting Bluetooth in them. But anyway, it is, oh, it doesn't look it here, an Invicta 14. So if anyone's got a Delph one, then yes please, but it does work, and of course therefore it can be used.
And actually, just before that handover, you know, you get your handover from.
So this is Steve at Steve Pendlebury's Longstay Vintage Radio Workshop. This is here for a bit actually, probably, and so I'm waiting for bits.
And as long as
I've got the electronics sorted out.
This is what we do.
And I've got the thing back together and painted. But really, one thing I do want for this more than anything now is a dial. Anyway, for me, that's it for this episode of Radio Repair here at Longstay Workshop, and I'll see you soon. Whoever God is, be faithful to him, and he'll be faithful to you. Take care, and bye bye.
What are you going to say? And I remember